Hey, well, good evening, friends. My name is Jordan Kemper. I'm so excited that you guys are joining me. My suggestion to you guys is that you really interact with me during this content. I think a lot of this is going to be new information. So my suggestion is that if you're seated, sit up in your seat, take some notes. Don't just think that you're going to remember a lot of the concepts. I challenge you to write them down. And then I want you to really engage with me as much as possible. At the end, if we've got some time, I'm going to take a little question and answering from you guys. But my goal tonight is to really inspire each and every one of you to be at an optimal level of health. That's really the goal. And I know for myself personally, growing up outside of Chicago, playing high levels of basketball and football, even into the professional level, I was always looking for that edge. I was always curious of which foods to eat, which exercise programs to follow. But I'll be honest, I made a lot of poor choices when it came to supplements. And I think I made a lot of poor supplement choices, but it wasn't because I didn't want to achieve better health. It's not because I didn't want to be elite. I think there was just a lot of misinformation out there. I was misguided. So I didn't really hit the levels that I wanted to in high school and college, and a lot of what I've learned came after college, but I really wish that I would have learned this when I was younger. So tonight, that's our goal. We're going to move through some content. So as I said, I'm Jordan Kemper, founder of One Body International. I've been studying health and wellness for years, and I'm excited to share this content with you guys tonight. So my first question is this: are supplements safe? Ask yourself right now, do you take supplements? What supplements do you take? The statistics show that more than 50% of Americans do take some sort of a dietary supplement. The problem is that 54% of supplements don't even disintegrate. So we've got some problems, and I think that a lot of people, we just choose the cheap vitamin. I chose a Walgreens multivitamin in college because it was $7 for a 3-month supply. Or I'd go to Costco and I'd get a big tub of fish oil that would last me 6 months. But I just was unaware of how unregulated the supplement industry was. So this is where I really want to start. I want to start with, is the supplement industry safe? So let's do a little history lesson here. It used to be that supplements fell under the category of drugs. So like making drugs, the FDA used to approve all supplements, and you had to prove that your product was safe and effective before you started selling it. Well, the state of Utah actually did a quarter of all of supplement sales in the United States. 1/4 of all supplements sold came from Utah. It was a $24 billion industry at the time. And this trails back all the way to the early 90s. So what happened was their good old Senator Orrin Hatch, Republican senator from Utah, decided to deregulate the supplement industry. They were tired of all the barriers that they had to go through to get these supplements out. So Orrin Hatch led the charge, and the supplement industry was actually deregulated in the early 90s. Deregulated, meaning there was no one that had to watch over these products. Now, I want you to write this word down. You see the word proprietary blend. Proprietary blend is basically what the government mandated to try and protect this intellectual property owned by some of these supplement companies. And basically what it means with a proprietary blend is that if you're within 80% of what your label states, you're okay. In fact, you can even use precursors to vitamins. You can claim ascorbic acid as vitamin C. You can claim beta-carotene as vitamin A. You don't really have to state what it is that you have. So there's a little term in the supplement world. They call it pixie dusting. And pixie dusting is this idea where you don't even have to expose people to your real formulas. So you could have a capsule that's, the majority of it is rice flour, which is extremely inexpensive, but you could claim it as creatine. You could claim it as ephedrine. You could claim it as whatever you wanted. So this concept of pixie dusting allows you for $1.50 to make a product and turn around and sell it for $60. Now you're saying, well, wait a second, can you really do that? Yes, actually you can, and the government actually rewards you for this. They say that you don't have to have your products approved by the FDA. You go ahead and make products in your basement, sell it for whatever you want, and unless your product is harmful and causes damage to someone's life, FDA is not going to come down on you. So you can see the roles had reversed. It used to be the other way around. It used to be that you had to have your products approved by the FDA to get them to the market. Well, after Orrin Hatch deregulated the supplement industry, it's never been the same since. So now you look, the #1 resource people go to for health information, believe it or not, are bodybuilder magazines. So you've got individuals making a product for $1.50, selling it for $60, and then what do? Using Photoshop and technology at our fingertips today, they can pretend that a product works much better than it does, and they'll offer some product like the juice, and they'll call it a proprietary blend, so they won't even tell you actually what's in the product. You think it works because the images are convincing, when in reality you're getting a pill full of rice flour. That's what's happened to the supplement industry. So I want you to write this down, okay? It is imperative that when you choose to buy a supplement, you want to make sure that the product being used follows GMPs for the pharmaceutical industry, okay? I want to define this for you guys. GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. This is something that most people do not understand. Look at this. Most products follow food grade GMPs. They're only required to have about 20% of what they say is on the label actually in the tablet. Unless you take supplements from a nutritional company that follows pharmaceutical grade good manufacturing practices, in other words, drug GMPs, you have no assurance that what's on the label is actually in the tablet. Companies that voluntarily produce their products in a pharmaceutical grade fashion are required to have 100% of what is on the label in the tablet. So what I want you to note here is a lot of companies, they'll slap a label on the side of their vitamins and they'll say, we follow GMPs. Well, the question is, do you follow food GMPs or do you follow drug GMPs? There's a big difference between the two. Now, with about 1,600 supplement companies that exist in North America, only a handful of those companies actually make their own products. So most companies, probably around 1,500 companies, are nothing more than marketing companies following food GMPs. And I see all sorts of doctors, they'll slap their name on the side of a label, and this is doctor approved, or this is this doctor's product, he follows GMPs. A lot of people even say pharmaceutical grade. That is a buzzword. It has to be drug GMPs, pharmaceutical grade for the good manufacturing practices. And quite frankly, friend, there are only a handful of companies that do this. So when people come to me and they start comparing one product to another, this is foolishness. There is no reason to compare one label to another unless the company follows pharmaceutical grade good manufacturing practices. I mean, sure, your label might look good and it might have the right amounts on the label, but if you're following food GMPs, there's no guarantee that what's on the label matches the content of the bottle. So why are we arguing about labels? See, friends, you've got to make sure that the company follows these pharmaceutical grade GMPs. That way there's a guarantee that 100% of what is on the label is in the tablet. Okay? Now, once we've come to an understanding of how poorly regulated the supplement industry is, and we decide that we do need supplements, let me trace back to when I was 22 years old. When I was 22 years old, I did not think that I needed a multivitamin. I did not think that it was a necessity. I thought a multivitamin was a luxury. So I want you to take 5 simple steps with me. I want us to come to an understanding of degenerative disease, the cause of degenerative disease, the solution to that cause, and then we're going to move through whether supplements are a luxury or a necessity, and then if we do need to supplement, then which product should you choose? Which product is the best? So let's start with number 1. No doubt about it, degenerative disease is the leading cause of death. 39% of deaths, cardiovascular disease. You've got 580,618 deaths of cancer. You can see respiratory disease, diabetes. We've got degenerative disease being the leading cause of death. Now, what causes degenerative disease? Because we all know these diseases. Okay, here's what you need to realize, friends. Degenerative disease is a slow process. So as our cells are oxidized, as our cells are going through some sort of a decaying, what happens is the health of your cells ultimately determines the health of your body. So you guys know the word oxidation. When you think of a pickup truck rusting in a cornfield, when you think about guacamole turning brown, this is the oxidative process. And some of the common causes of oxidation are smoking, stress, medications, food additives, sunlight, pollution, exercise, and airline travel. So what's happening is oxidation. I want to take this to a higher level here. I want to really make sure that you guys understand what oxidation is. So if you look here on the right, Electrons always come in pairs, positive and negative. You guys know that? But just like a car battery, positive and a negative. If an electron is by itself, that is what we call an unstable ion. An unstable ion is an unpaired electron that causes damage. That is what a free radical is. So the solution to this is antioxidants. Antioxidants are nothing more than vitamins that have an absorbent amount of electrons in their outer shell, and they can donate an electron to this free radical. They can pair it up, if you will, to neutralize that free radical, hence it doesn't cause damage. So most people use the word antioxidants, but they really have no clue what it does. I think this fireplace analogy is most helpful. I want you to think of your cells like a fire. Your cells, each individual cell, your body's made up of trillions of cells. Each individual cell creates energy. We call that ATP, right? Adenine triphosphate. That's cellular energy. But a byproduct of creating energy or heat are the sparks, the embers that come off the fire. So when you create energy, you create this heat. You guys know that sparks land on your jeans, or they land on your knee, or they land on the carpet. It doesn't feel very good. And if those sparks land on the carpet and slowly deteriorates the carpet, what happens to the carpet over time? It gets black, it gets rugged, it looks nasty, disgusting. So what do we do to stop the sparks? Well, we can't have a fire without sparks, but we can neutralize the damage. That's what we do. So we put a sheath around the fireplace, some sort of glass or cage. We keep the sparks from causing damage. That is what an antioxidant does. An antioxidant does nothing more than neutralize the damage. And people say, well, can I just slow down the oxidative process? Yes, you can make better choices. But similar to the emissions that come out of the tailpipe of your car, you will always have a byproduct when you create cellular energy. The question is, does that byproduct cause damage or does it not? That's really the question we have to look at. So if we agree that we need antioxidants, the question is, where do antioxidants come from? Well, we know that antioxidants come from the earth. I believe God put fruits and vegetables in the ground. We are supposed to get antioxidants. The problem is, if we look over the last 50 years, our soils are severely depleted. So the question is, are you getting the nutrients that you need solely from the foods you consume? And if you start looking at the research, you'll see, let's just take vitamin E, for example. The optimal amount of vitamin E that you should be consuming every single day is 400 international units. Well, in order to get 400 international units today, you'd have to eat 28.8 pounds of spinach. That's very difficult to do. That's 3 9-pound salads, Popeye. The reality is we're not going to do that. So it's funny, I travel to San Diego. I've even gone up to Newfoundland. I've gone to Vancouver, Chicago, Florida, you name it. A lot of foods aren't locally grown. Some are, some aren't. So it's really difficult to get the level of balanced nutrients that we need solely from the foods we eat, especially as you go up. Okay, so as we go north, it's even more challenging because a lot of foods aren't locally grown. So the question then becomes, can we get all the nutrients that we need solely from foods? I think the answer is no. We've got to supplement. Now notice, I didn't say substitute. I said supplement. We want to supplement a good diet. We want to fill in the gaps. And you've got to choose a product. And I believe, friends, over these next few minutes, you will be as convinced as I am that USANA is the top choice. It is the #1 rated nutritional product. Lyle McWilliams, former member of Canadian Parliament, he actually did a study of over 1,600 nutritional companies all across North America. He has ranked USANA as the gold medal of achievement. He has ranked them as the #1 product for over 10 years in multiple editions of his comparative guide to nutritional supplements. You'll see, here's just a handful of the companies, okay? There's 1,600, but I thought I would pick just a few that maybe would stand out to you. You can see that CVS, Nature's Bounty, Kirkland, Walgreens, Centrum, I mean, they were getting a half star, 1.5 stars. On a 5-star rating, you can see they scored very poorly. Now ask yourself, do you think these companies follow drug GMPs or food GMPs? Friends, I'll tell you right now, those half-star and 1.5-star ratings I think are generous. Generous! These companies are getting a 1-star rating, and that's with the food GMP label, which means that they're not even guaranteeing that what's on their product is in their label. That means that even with a low score of their label, Imagine what's in their products. So I tell people, I can't believe some of these companies score so poorly. They could even lie. They could lie on their labels and get a higher score if they wanted to. So to me, you've got to make sure that your product's following those drug GMPs, and you'll see that there are a lot of products out there that are poor quality. Now, this is the company that came into my life. Back in 2006, my mom was severely struggling with her health, was on 9 different medications. A doctor, friend of ours from church, introduced my mom to the USANA product line. Now, the only reason he recommended this product line was because the company followed good manufacturing practices for the drug industry. With his reputation on the line, he would not promote a product that didn't meet these drug standards of manufacturing. So he introduced my mom to some of the USANA products, and within months, the results were undeniable. I saw my mom's health drastically change. So this was the introduction of USANA into my life. So the doctor said, Jordan, I think these products would help you. I know you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, and you're a college athlete. You want to be the best that you can be. So I decided, you know what? I got to give these products a try. And so I did. I started using the USANA products, and slowly over time, I started exposing myself to the understanding of the supplement industry, specifically some of the products that USANA had to offer. So let's start with an understanding of multivitamins. It's imperative that your multivitamin is something that you take twice a day. Why do you take it twice a day? Because a lot of the vitamins are water soluble. Okay? What that means is that they dissolve into your bloodstream, your body uses what it needs, and then it excretes what it doesn't need. Whereas some vitamins are fat soluble, which means your body can store them, like vitamin A, D, E, and K, fat soluble. So what happens is most vitamins are water soluble, which means that we have to make sure that we're replenishing our nutrients, giving our cells what they need. Now, if you take antioxidants by themselves, they're not effective. So the green bottle represents the soldier going into battle. The soldier is what's fighting the free radicals. But the blue bottle is food and water for the soldier. You've got to have antioxidant regeneration. So a good multivitamin meets certain levels, but there needs to be symphony and synergy for maximum benefits. You've got to have a balanced multivitamin. It needs to meet drug GMPs, and you need to take it twice a day. Okay? Now people ask me, well, what's that cost? Imagine for $1.75, you're getting all of this nutrition. Friends, I'm telling you, it's like I think of my cells taking a bath in nutrients every day. For $1.75, which is cheaper than a Starbucks latte, you can bathe your cells in the nutrients that you need and fill in the gaps for what I know you're missing in your diet. Okay, the Essentials is just an unbelievable product. It's the flagship product that USANA has. If you're still not convinced, I challenge you to do a simple little test. Just take whatever your multivitamin is, which I did 7 years ago. I took a Centrum multivitamin and I threw it in a glass of water with an apple. I took a USANA Mega Antioxidant tablet and I threw it in a glass of water, and then I just let it sit with the apple slice for 48 hours. You can see that the Centrum tablet actually turned the apple black. Now you're saying, well, why is it black? Well, not only did a little bit of oxidation take place, Centrum, since it's not following drug GMPs, they actually use petroleum, crude oil. They use crude oil as a binding agent. Okay? They're using petroleum to make sure that the pill stays in pill form, but yet somehow is supposed to dissolve inside the stomach. That's a binding extract. Okay? They use petroleum. Well, the petroleum obviously binded to the apple, and you can see the black ring around the outside of the apple. It's disgusting. So when people say to me, Jordan, does it really make a difference? You know, I know USANA is the best, but Centrum's better than nothing. Ask yourself, do you agree with that statement? Heck no. Centrum is harmful. Okay, friends, I would rather you take nothing at all than take a product that is harmful to you. So again, going back to being a deregulated industry, when companies are claiming proprietary blends or they're following food standards of manufacturing, you better be very cautious. You people that got your kids on Flintstone tablets, I would toss those in the trash. There are so many different products out there that are actually harmful, and I know that's not your intention, but you need to be informed on this information. Here's some childhood supplements. USANimals is a very safe pharmaceutical-grade option for children. Formulated for teenagers, we have a product called Body Rocks. So again, this is a multivitamin. And then we've got a vitamin regimen option called the Health Pack, or you can even customize a program called a My Health Pack. So these are some really cool options. I like the health pack. This is what I started with. This includes USANA's essentials, and that it includes active calcium and a core optimizer we call AO Booster. Let me just talk about this for a minute. Calcium is the most important mineral in muscle contraction. We all know that it affects bones, but a lot of people don't understand how important calcium is for muscle contraction. So especially for you guys that are exercising, you athletes, you weekend warriors, calcium's imperative. AO Booster has what we call grapeseed extract. It also has something called resveratrol. So if you guys know the French paradox, they've actually shown that people, even in these Mediterranean climates, consume as much red meat as we do in the United States, but their risk of cardiovascular disease is less. They attribute that to the red wine that they consume, which is that grapeseed extract. So the AO Booster is an amazing product. The convenience of this is great. So this is kind of a deluxe, what I would call premium multivitamin for $4.29 a day. This is the health pack. My health pack allows you to customize. So you can choose from dozens of different optimizers, and we can build you a very specific program just for your needs. Now I needed to define some terms here. RDA versus optimal. I want you to write this down. RDA means recommended daily allowance. Little history lesson for you. Way back in the 1940s, they determined how much of a particular vitamin they would give to a soldier. In other words, how much vitamin, how much ration should we give these soldiers to keep them from getting disease? They determined that 60 milligrams of vitamin C would keep a soldier from getting scurvy. They determined an amount of vitamin D that would keep them from getting rickets. So the RDA was not optimal. The RDA was what's the minimum wage, what's the least amount we can give them to avoid disease. So if you want to shoot for RDA levels, congratulations, you won't get scurvy. But the reality is optimal is a much different category. Another example, the recommended daily allowance of vitamin E is actually 20 IUs, 20 international units. Whereas they show that you don't even see a health benefit until you consume 100 IUs a day. But optimal amounts, they say, is 400 international units of vitamin E. So I don't know about you, the RDA side versus the optimal side, I'm not looking to just, survive. I'm looking for, if a drought comes, my body, my cells have all of the nutrients that they need to be alive and vibrant. So you've got to make sure you shoot for optimal levels. Let's talk about time commitment. A lot of people say, Jordan, okay, I'll give your products a shot for a month. I'll try them for 2 weeks. Why don't you just give me a week's supply, Jordan? Friends, your cells duplicate themselves. They actually say that most of your cells have completely duplicated themselves within about 6 months. Some of your soft tissue, it's 3 months. Your bone cells, it's 12 months. But what I want to see is every single cell needs to be impacted by the nutrition of USANA. I tell people, if you're not willing to commit 6 months to this nutritional regimen, you might as well not start at all. We really want to make sure that we're giving the cells what we need. This is a physician friend that I work with. He said it takes between 6 to 12 months to replenish any nutritional deficiencies and optimize the body's natural immune system, antioxidant defense, and repair system. If you are over 30 years of age or already have chronic degenerative disease, it may even take longer. This is why I stress over and over again that you need to give nutritional supplementation a minimum of 6 months, or even better, a year, before you evaluate the benefits. When my patients tell me that they will try using my recommended supplements for a month, I tell them not to even start. If you are not willing to try my recommendations for at least 6 months, you should not even begin. Friends, 6 months, 6 to 12 month commitment to really see the benefits. Let's talk about some of the optimizers. A lot of people say, Jordan, my needs are a little different than so-and-so's needs. I'm an elite athlete, or Jordan, I've got some digestive issues, or you know what, Jordan, it's menopause month, boy, I'm struggling with some things. Everybody's needs are different, right? So let me just talk to you about a few of the optimizers. Let's look at proflavanol C. They actually say investigators noted that a high vitamin C level may reflect healthy lifestyles and possible supplementation. They followed over 20,000 men for 10 years. People with the highest levels of vitamin C had a 42% lower risk of stroke when compared to those with the lowest level of vitamin C. I'm telling you, vitamin C is imperative. So eating a healthy diet that contains 6 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables along with supplementation is certainly a good idea. You can see the study there. Let's talk about vitamin D. Vitamin D, first of all, was incorrectly labeled years ago. Vitamin D is actually a hormone. But if we look, Harvard scientists used military personnel to determine that vitamin D status and risk of developing MS. They found that vitamin D levels increased they found that as vitamin D levels increased, there was a decreased risk in developing multiple sclerosis. In fact, the white males who had the highest level of vitamin D had a 62% decreased risk of developing MS when compared to those who had the lowest level of vitamin D. I'm telling you, vitamin D is like the utility infielder. It does it all. It affects so much. So vitamin D is super imperative. Let's talk about macular degeneration. One of the most concerning age-related diseases was referred to as macular degeneration. It's the leading cause of blindness in the elderly. This leads to degeneration of an area of the eye called the macula, which is responsible for our central vision. When they look at someone, they are not able to see their face, but are able to see around the area of their face. Research has identified the cause of this is oxidative stress. In fact, it's called photooxidation. Several studies have been done that show supplementation with the host of antioxidants includes two carotenoids called lutein and zeaxanthin significantly decreases your risk of developing age-related macular degeneration. So you can see the study there. What do you think Vision X is? It's exactly that, friends, lutein and zeaxanthin. One more. A large Scottish study showed that increased intake of dietary and supplemental vitamin B6 is associated with a significant decrease in colon cancer. Subjects with the highest levels of vitamin B6 were 20% less likely to develop colon cancer than those who had the lowest levels of vitamin B6. Where do you think you'll find B6? In our essentials. I'm telling you, friends, I heard a heart surgeon say this, Dr. Tom Carter. He said it is better to overdose on supplements than to underdose on supplements. Now, let me qualify that. If you're taking a food-grade supplement, I would say that's not true. If you're taking a pharmaceutical-grade supplement, I would say it's very true. Anything your body doesn't need, you will excrete. Okay? I tell people that my urine turned USANA gold when I started using the essentials. But the reality is my body uses what it needs and gets rid of what it doesn't need. That is much better than my body needing nutrients and them not being present. So you want to make sure that you overdose as opposed to underdose. Okay? This is imperative. Now, I didn't have time tonight to cover all of the amazing products. You know, we've got a fish oil product. We've got a probiotic. We've got a Hepicil, which is a milk thistle extract. You can see that we've got an array of amazing products. But the point is, nutrition is different for everybody. You got to get personal. You got to make sure that you customize a regimen. But foundationally speaking, everybody needs to be on a good multivitamin. I believe everybody needs to be on a good fish oil. And then the next one I would add to that would be vitamin D and probiotics. I really think that those are kind of the core products that everybody needs to start with. And then above and beyond that, based on a person's budget, then you can get a little bit more specific. Now, you might be saying, Jordan, well, what do you take? Okay, I'm a little over the top. I'm just going to go ahead and admit that. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. So in the morning, you can see this is my regimen. I know that most vitamins are water soluble, which means within 4 to 6 hours, most of the water soluble vitamins are gone. So I replenish my system about 4 hours later with some more products. In the evening, roughly around dinner time, I have my AO Booster Vision X chelated mineral, 100 milligrams of CoQ10, 2 more antioxidants and vitamin D, and then right before bed, I take 2 active calcium, 2 ginkgo, Hepicil, 2 Percosa, and my proflavanol C200. This is an average day. I usually take between 10 to 20 Biomega, which is a little bit more than I would recommend for everybody else. I take a digestive enzyme with most meals, and then I take probiotics once a day, and I take Booster C only seasonally if I'm feeling a little under the weather or I'm traveling quite a bit, maybe to other countries. And then I always take 2 Pure Rest before bed just because I want the benefits of melatonin for my liver. Am I saying that everybody needs to be on this? Nope. But what I will tell you is I'm 30 years old. I'm still running a fast 40-yard dash. I'm still dunking a basketball with 2 hands. I rarely ever see a doctor. And I tell people that I feel better than ever. So for me, I'm not looking to just survive life. I'm looking to actually improve with each passing day. And I know with the right exercise, diet, and nutritional products, I can do so. So I really want to encourage you guys to understand that this isn't about surviving. It's about being optimal. I don't know about you guys, but after doing this homework and doing this research, I was so convinced that supplements are not a luxury anymore. Supplements are a necessity. And if you don't believe me, believe the Journal of American Medical Association. They said, pending strong evidence of the effectiveness from randomized trials, it appears prudent for all adults to take vitamin supplements. In the event that you Google supplements and it says that vitamins don't work, mind you that that study was probably based on a food-grade product. If you did studies with food-grade vitamins, I would tell you vitamins didn't work as well. But if all of our studies were conducted with products that followed drug GMPs, the results would be drastically different. It does appear prudent that all adults should take dietary supplements. And so if you're going to choose a product, why not go with the best? Over 600 professional and Olympic athletes choose USANA products. I believe they are the elite of the elite. You know, some of these guys train 4 years for a 12-second race. They want to make sure that their cells have exactly what they need. None of these athletes receive any monetary compensation, but they choose to trust USANA. Entire organizations. We are the official health supplement supplier of U.S. Snowboarding, the Women's Tennis Association, Pachuca, Mexican national team, a Canadian cross country. You'll see all of these organizations were looking for a product that met drug GMPs. And I'll tell you, we even work with athletes in Australia. They actually have higher standards in Australia than they do in the U.S. They have something called the TGA. You can write that down, Therapeutic Goods Administration. Their standards are higher than the United States standards of manufacturing. So USANA voluntarily subjects themselves to TGA standards, and the TGA sends somebody from Australia all the way to Salt Lake City to make sure that our products are TGA approved so that we can do business in Australia. So I'll tell you right now, when I found out that USANA products were TGA approved, that actually is even a higher standard than drug GMPs. That is the highest of highest standards that you can follow. And when these organizations determined that, that's when they realized how effective and powerful this product actually was. Let me just kind of conclude my presentation with a quote from Dr. Wentz. Dr. Wentz is the founder of USANA. He says that we're living too short and dying too long. Dr. Wentz, since the early 70s, he was a virologist. He was a double PhD. He studied cells. And for years, he was developing antiviral test kits at his company, Gold Laboratories. But when his mom and his dad passed away of a degenerative disease, he said, I've got to do something about degenerative disease because it is the leading cause of death. So now understanding that it's the leading cause of death, he shifts his research, starts USANA, and because he came from the pharmaceutical industry, he said, we will be the first company to voluntarily subject ourselves to the same standards of manufacturing that I followed at Gold Laboratories. That is why USANA became a company that met the drug GMP standards, and we were the first company to do so. So for those of you that want to know what the option is moving forward, each of you can talk to the person that invited you to this presentation. You can sign up for a free preferred customer account. You'll get a 20% off, which is a wholesale discount, no strings attached. You can buy your products periodically, or my recommendation would be to commit for 6 to 12 months to being on these products, and they'll give you actually an additional 10% off by being on a monthly shipment, a monthly auto order. And with being a part of our loyalty program, you'll start using the nutritionals and giving your body what it needs every single day, month after month after month. That's a pretty convenient option. And in fact, what USANA will do is they'll take 10% of whatever your initial order is. So if your initial order was $300 or $640, they'll give you 10% of that back over the course of your next 2 orders. So if your order is $640, you'd be getting $64 back over the course of your next 2 orders. So we really want to kind of develop that loyalty program and show you over time that we do care about your business and we do want you reaching your desired results. If you have any more questions, you guys can go to joinonebody.com. There'll be an option on the left to choose True Health. You can get more details about the preferred customer program, and we've got some information, even some price sheets there that you guys can check out. You can talk to the person that invited you to this presentation, or like I said, go to joinonebody.com and get some more information. I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. USANA is an absolutely amazing company. So at this time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take just a few questions. Let me just go ahead and qualify something. Friends, I am not a physician, so I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just giving you some suggestions, okay? USANA does not treat, cure, or prevent disease. I cannot make those claims. But the reality is, I do believe that if we give the cells what they need, we can boost our God-given immune system and function optimally. Okay? Somebody's asking about thyroid activity. Again, whether you've got high or low thyroid activity, what we want to make sure we do is we got to influx those cells. We got to get the hormones functioning optimally. So we want to make sure that you're at least minimally on the essentials, and we want to get you onto a low glycemic diet. Somebody's asking me of how USANA compares to some of the other companies. I'm not going to beat up on any of the other companies. Like I said, a lot of these companies that you guys are asking me about, the reality is most of these companies do not meet the standards of drug GMPs. So that's the question you need to ask. Whatever company you're exploring, ask them why they don't follow drug GMPs. Okay? Somebody's asking me, is it imperative to take 2 health packs per day? Some people say they have too much energy when they take 2. You know what? Yes, you do have to take the health pack twice a day. I think more energy is a good thing. If they're struggling to sleep, I don't think that's the essentials. It could possibly be some of the minerals, but I would just take it earlier in the day. So if 7 o'clock you have breakfast, have your first health pack. 7 p.m. have your second health pack. If you have to bump it up to 5 o'clock, do so. But you really want to make sure that you're giving your nutrients, or you're giving your cells the nutrients they need. Absolutely imperative you take them twice a day. Somebody's asking me about all natural versus synthetic. The truth is, friends, USANA always uses the best option available. So the reality is, synthetic is not necessarily a bad thing. Let me qualify that. Take, for example, our melatonin product. I mean, the purest form of melatonin actually comes from animal brain. But the diseases associated with animal brain is not something that we want to toy with. So if you create a molecule that is actually bioidentical, the body actually cannot tell the difference between the two. So USANA always chooses the best and safest option. So when we can use natural sources, that would be ideal. But bioidentical molecules actually will give you the same effects. So in the case of our melatonin, that's not coming from brain. It actually is a synthetic, but we get our raw ingredients from the purest forms out in Switzerland, and we've developed our Pure Rest product. So, friends, don't think that synthetic is always a bad thing. All natural sometimes actually isn't good for you. Somebody's asking, is it possible to overdose on fat-soluble vitamins? Yes, it is, but the upper limits are so high. I mean, you'd have to swallow 10 bottles of vitamin D at the same time to overdose on vitamin D. It's so difficult to reach those upper limits. So, again, friends, I wouldn't be concerned with overdosing on fat-soluble vitamins. You do want to limit your intake of vitamin A. You don't want to take a vitamin A product, but you'll notice that USANA uses beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. And so what your body will do is when it needs more vitamin A, your body will turn beta-carotene into vitamin A. Okay? How would someone know, if looking at a supplement bottle, if it follows food GMPs or pharmaceutical GMPs? Great question. Okay? It will say, we follow drug GMPs. It will say GMPs for the pharmaceutical industry. If you're not sure, just grab the bottle, call the manufacturer, and ask them if they follow drug GMPs. And I guarantee you, to my understanding, I found less than a dozen companies that follow drug GMPs, and USANA is actually the cheapest of those options. So most companies do not follow drug GMPs. If you go to the health food store, most of them don't even understand that. You ask the person at the vitamin shop or GNC, hey, are these products following drug GMPs? They don't even know what that means. A person saying, Jordan, if I were to take the same amount of supplements that you take, can I take them all at once, or is it better to take them separately like you do? Yes, you want to definitely space them out. Space out your products. The reason for that is because, like I said, your body can only absorb so much of the water-soluble vitamins at a time. So if you influx your system with, say, too much vitamin C, most of it will be excreted. You won't use it. But if you can space out your vitamin use, now you're giving your cells the nutrients that they need over the course of a 24-hour period. Somebody's asking me, they said, Jordan, I have a few friends and customers who still don't believe in vitamins. They eat all organic and still won't take vitamins. What, can we use to educate them? I mean, I don't know how much more evidence I could give you. I am a huge advocate of eating locally grown, organic, farmers market foods. Absolutely. That's number one. That's the best source of antioxidants. But the research is conclusive that even if you eat organic and you eat locally grown, you're still not getting the balance of nutrients that you need. So you might be getting the level of calcium that you need from dairy products, but a lot of people avoid dairy. So what's your source of calcium going to be? Broccoli? I can't tell you how much broccoli you'd have to consume to get your intake of calcium every day. So again, the idea of supplementation is not to replace a good diet. It is to supplement and fill in the gaps of a good diet. They've done research on the essentials. They say that the amount of nutrients just found in a daily dose of USANA's essentials would cost you $33 a day if you were going to get it from normal foods, and you'd have to consume over 22,000 calories. So you can see that most of the foods we're consuming today simply are not nutrient rich. They're depleted of the most basic nutrients, and if the minerals and antioxidants are not in the soil, they can't show up in the plant. You can't magically make magnesium. You can't magically make some of these minerals. It has to be in the soil. Okay, so if it's not found in the soil, you're not going to be absorbing it. An individual is asking what the difference between AO Booster is and Proflavanol C. AO Booster has more resveratrol. Proflavanol C has more grapeseed extract. Not to mention the Proflavanol C also includes high levels of vitamin C. So AO Booster and Proflavanol C are great products depending upon your needs. Somebody's asking, are the essentials safe for pregnant women? Because we do not have the prenatal version in the Philippines. Yes, absolutely 110% yes. The essentials are pharmaceutical grade, extremely safe. Really the big difference between the essentials and a prenatal is that the prenatal includes a little bit more biotin, folic acid, and iron. So I think the essentials is a wonderful prenatal. So for those of you in the Philippines, go ahead and use the essentials. That'll be a nice option. Can you crush the vitamins into a smoothie if you have trouble swallowing them? Yes, you can. My recommendation would be you don't want to use like a high-speed blender. It would be better to use like a mortar and pestle. You know, you guys have seen those little grinding tools. But if you grind the tools and you want to sprinkle them into your shake, or you want to use like a Vitamix will actually, you know, chop up the vitamins, but I don't heat up the vitamins. We don't want to heat up or denature the vitamins. So if you have struggles swallowing pills, yes, you can put them into a blender, but the best option would be to grind them up with a mortar and pestle and then, you know, take them as a powder form. Somebody's asking, is fish oil safe for someone with seafood allergies? Yes, but what I would recommend is talk to the person that invited you to this information, and they can actually send you an allergen chart so you can see which products you need to be leery of. But most people that are allergic to fish oil, they're actually allergic to the protein that's in fish oil. So the fish oil that we use is the protein that's in fish. So you'll be 100% fine with our products. Some questions are coming in about medications and USANA products. I would really try to consult a medical expert, a physician. I'm not going to tell you whether you should be on your medications or not. What I can tell you is that it worked wonders for my mom, and she was able to start weaning off some of her medications, but that really is up to your physician. My recommendation would be take the USANA products with the medications, and then as your blood reports get better, then you ask your medical advisor whether it's okay to start weaning off some of the medications that you're on. But I'm going to leave that up to your medical advisors. Is Hepacil DTX safe for pregnant women? Yes, it is. Somebody's saying, since we can't crush up Biomega, how much of the Biomega Junior should we give? You know, like I said, you could do 1 or 2 of those Biomega Junior packets if you want to. Or the other option, which might seem a little gross, is you can actually bite the Biomega. If you bite, you can suck out the juice. The capsule, you can actually get the fish oil that's inside. That's another option. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I've seen some children do that. But for kids, Biomega Junior is going to be your best option, 1 to 2 a day. Somebody's asking the difference between Proflavanol 100 and 200. It's in reference to the amount of grapeseed extract. Remember how I was teaching you guys about the antioxidants are the ones attacking free radicals? They actually say that grapeseed extract is arguably the most potent antioxidant that exists. So the amount of grapeseed extract that's in your diet is amazing. So anybody with any sort of inflammation issues, Proflavanol is an amazing anti-inflammatory. So I actually try to shoot for, get this, I take 2 Proflavanol C200s a day, so that's 400 milligrams, and then I'll actually take an additional amount of 100. So I take usually around 1,200 milligrams of grapeseed extract every day. How's that for grapeseed extract? Some individuals are asking what reading material you would suggest for learning more about supplementation. Yes, I think the Comparative Guide to Nutritional Supplements would be an amazing resource. Karen Wolf wrote a book called Is Your Lifestyle Killing You? Or I can't remember, but look up Dr. Karen Wolf. I read her book. That was an amazing book. A man named Dr. Ray Strand wrote a book called What Your Doctor Doesn't Know About Nutritional Supplements May Be Killing You. That's another great resource. Dr. Libby Weaver, she's written some really cool books. She talks about kind of the role of vitamins and minerals and how they kind of play into the macronutrients that we consume and consuming or in coordinating our hormonal levels. Women, she wrote a book called Rushing Women Syndrome. Really would recommend that book to the females that are on this. Somebody's asking for my Facebook page address. You can go to, just look up Jordan Kemper on Facebook. And I've got a public page, and then what we'll also do is if you go to facebook.com/OneBodyINTL, that was /OneBodyINTL, we try to give like supplement facts and supplement ideas there, and we'll try to coordinate with you guys as best we can. So listen, friends, let me conclude with this, okay? You guys are amazing. Each and every one of you has a body that is designed by God that is just absolutely stellar. And my hope is that you realize and cherish the one body that you guys have. I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you're getting adequate amounts of sleep, drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of oxygen in your system. I want you guys to exercise 4 times a week minimally. I want you to eat low glycemic. And then this 6th piece, which we covered tonight, is you need to supplement. You really need to take a good supplement. So I hope that tonight's information has been inspiring to each of you guys, and that each of you guys start properly supplementing with an amazing company, USANA. This company has changed my life. Each of you only get one body. Don't compromise.